Ryan Lake. Come on, anybody love Jesus in this place? Come on, why don't you show some honor and some love to your pastor? Don't you love your pastor? Incredible heart. You go ahead and be seated. I had a blast at the Legacy Marriage Getaway, and we laughed too much, and we had such a good time. And you guys got some strong marriages in your church, that's for sure, and people that are committed to making it work. And I think that's a sign of a really healthy church. And I'm so glad that you pushed past the rain. You didn't let that keep you from the house of God this morning. You said, listen, that we're not fair weather fans. We gonna come and worship no matter rain, shine, or snow. It don't snow that much, so we ain't got to worry about that. But we're so glad that you're here. As he said, my name is Ryan, and if it is your first time in church, hello. Richie will be preaching next week, okay? But I do want you to know a couple things about me that are very, very important. Number one, I am married. This is a picture of me and my bride. We sit in grass fields all the time. That's our thing. No, just kidding. That's not how we roll, but we did that for the photo. You might be looking at the photo thinking to yourself, how in the world did he get her? Let me explain. 8 years ago, I heard my wife tell a friend she thought it would be cool to get engaged and married on the same day. I had no idea what that meant, so I guessed. So over the next 2 years, I planned a wedding behind my wife's back. And so on June 7, 2013, I got down on one knee and said, Amanda, will you marry me? She said yes. I said, just kidding. Will you marry me today? And we opened up a lounge room door, and 100 of our family and friends were standing in there with a sign that said, today. And we brought in a makeup artist, hairstylist, bridesmaids, the dress, everything that you would need to get engaged and married on the same day. We sped to the courthouse to get a marriage license because you have to do that in Florida. We were engaged for 10 hours, real long time. If you need engagement advice, do not ask me. I got nothing for you, okay? Then my friend, he filmed the entire day, and we put the whole thing up on YouTube. So if you want to go home, you can check out the surprise wedding on YouTube. It's got about 1.4 million views, and you can watch my wife and I get engaged and married on the same day in 32 minutes. And so that's our story, engaged and married on the same day. Started having sex right away and had a baby. This is our son. His name is Jackson Carter Leak. He is 4 years old. He is a future first-round draft pick in the NBA. Sometimes you just got to say some things over your children. And I don't even care what team he plays for. He can even go second round. I don't even care, okay? As long as he retires me and his mother, that's all that matters. And my wife is not able to be here today because we are actually expecting our second child. So I have a Steph Curry. Now I got a Klay Thompson on the way. God is good. And we got the Splash Brothers Part 2 coming your way. So that's what you need to know about me. But today, it's not about me. Today is about you. And I believe that there is something in God's word that is going to be very, very helpful for you today. If you're here today and your friend tricked you into being in church, they told you they were taking you to breakfast, and then they stopped here first. I'm sorry, not sorry, but maybe you're not a Bible person, you're not a church person, you're very unfamiliar with the word. The person that wrote the story we're going to kind of look at today also was not a church person. His name is Matthew. He was a tax collector. Tax collectors, don't think IRS, don't think H&R Block. Think IRS meets the mafia. Like, these were not church people whatsoever. Yet Jesus walked up to this guy and gave him an invitation he could not refuse, and he got a front row seat to being with the greatest man to ever live, and he wrote about it. He got these up close and personal conversations between Jesus and his disciples that everybody didn't get. And one time, Jesus was having a conversation with Peter about forgiveness, and this non-church person wrote about it, and it's powerful. It's found in Matthew chapter 18, starting in verse 21. If you don't have a Bible, it'll be on the screen. Let's read it together. It says this, Then Peter came and said to him, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times? Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. For this reason, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his slaves. When he had begun to settle them, one who owed him 10,000 talents was brought to him. But since he did not have the means to repay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, along with his wife and children and all that he had, in repayment to be made. So the slave fell to the ground and prostrated himself before him, saying, "Have patience with me, and I will repay you everything." And the Lord of that slave felt compassion and released him and forgave him the debt. But that slave went out and found one of his fellow slaves who owed him 100 denarii, and he seized him and began to choke him. You ever had somebody owe you that much money that you decided to choke them? This is serious, ladies and gentlemen. Began to choke him, saying, "Pay back what you owe." So his fellow slave fell to the ground and began to plead with him, saying, "Have patience with me, and I will repay you." But he was unwilling and went and threw him in prison until he should pay back what was owed. So when his fellow slaves saw what had happened, they were deeply grieved and came and reported to their Lord all that had happened. Then summoning him, his Lord said to him, "You wicked slave, I forgave you all that debt because you pleaded with me. Should you not also have had mercy on your fellow slave in the same way that I had mercy on you?" Today, I want to talk to you about being unoffendable. Can we pray? Father, I thank you so much for the opportunity we have today to look at a story that I believe can set us free. God, I pray that you would teach us the art of letting go today. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said, my father was a pastor until I was in 5th grade, and then he had a stroke, and that forced him into early retirement. And his stroke, he recovered from it mostly, but he lost his motor skills and his ability to drive. And so by the time I got my license, I became my dad's official Uber driver. Okay, I had to take my dad everywhere, which wasn't a big deal because my dad only liked going one place and one place alone, Walmart. Okay, like my dad loved Walmart. My dad worked out at Walmart. My dad did counseling at Walmart. My dad did lunch, breakfast, dinner, Walmart. Like Walmart was his jam. My dad could go to Walmart for 5 hours. Okay, but it was like, "Dad, I can't be taking you to Walmart if you're going to be taking all day to get like a couple of items. Like we got stuff to do." But he just loved walking around Walmart. Now, my parents old, y'all. I mean, like my dad had me when he was 50 years old. Oh, now, the only issue with that is like my parents, because of their age, our age gap, they believe I work for every technological advanced company in the world. They believe I work for T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, Best Buy, Walmart. I mean, they think, they always call me with their technology questions. "Hey, my cable is not working. Hey, my TV's not working." You ever tried to FaceTime with somebody over 60? The camera's facing the ceiling. You're like, "I'm over here," okay? Like my parents, they always calling me with all these technological questions. One time, my mom called me. I was in a meeting, and when your parents are older, if they call you 3 times, you think that's an emergency, and you think somebody died, right? So you're like, "Man, let me get out this meeting. Let me get on the phone. Let's figure out what happened." And so my mom called me 3 times. I'm sitting in a meeting at the church. I get out the meeting. I go, "Mom, is everything okay?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Mom, why'd you call me 3 times?" She goes, "Your sister said I need to get me a Jamal." I said, "Mom, I don't even know what a Jamal is, and I don't have time for this, okay? Like, go figure it out. Go Google it. Like, I don't have time to figure it out." She goes, "No, listen." She said it wouldn't take long. She said you have a Jamal, and she has a Jamal, so if you could just help me get a Jamal, it'd be great. I said, "Mom, I don't know what you're talking about, okay? Like, she told you about it. Why doesn't she do that for you? Like, why are you involving me?" She said, "Ryan," she said, "it's simple." She said, "She told me I need to get rid of my AOL mail, and I need to start getting a G-Mal." Jamal must be Gmail for black people, okay? Like, if you need to get a hold of me, RyanLeak@Jamal.com. My parents are old, okay? And so whenever I would take my parents to Walmart, I had to figure out a new system. I'm going to park in the hazard section to say, "Hey, I'm in a hazardous situation. Y'all need to hurry up." So I'll never forget, one time I surprised my parents in Atlanta, bust through the door, bam! My mom said, "Oh my gosh, Ryan, it's so good to see you. I can't believe you're here." My dad looked at me and goes, "Ryan, you take me to Walmart? I said, of course, man. Good to see you too, man. Good to see you too. So I pack him up in my rental car. We go to Walmart. I park in the house. This is not my first rodeo. Okay, I've been down this lane before, and I said, all right, y'all hurry up now. I don't want the police to come and arrest me for just sitting here out here at Walmart. Y'all hurry up. 45 minutes later, my mom walks out by herself. She only has 2 items in her bag: cocoa butter and some laundry detergent. I said, Mom, it took you 45 minutes to get 2 items? By the way, where's Dad? She said, I don't know. I said, you lost Dad? How did you lose Dad? He is 6'3", 245 pounds. Mama, stay right here. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to go get Dad, okay? Now listen, I walked in this Walmart. I'm storming up and down every aisle like this man's cart better be full, okay? He better have a TV, a dresser, or he better have a futon sticking out the back of this car. I said, this man better have so much stuff. We've been here 2 hours, okay? Listen. I found my dad in the towel aisle. The only thing he had in his cart was a 2-liter of ginger ale and a Snickers bar. I saw that cart. I said, I'm about to blow this place up. Do you understand me right now? What are you doing? He says this honest guy. He goes, I'm looking for your mother. I said, I'm going to kill somebody. She's outside. Let's go. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, let's go. Man, I'm buying everything. I'm like, dude, let's go. Let's just get out of here. We get outside, and you already know the rest of this story. My rental car is gone. My dad pulls out his Snickers bar and goes, oh. I thought you said your mother was out here. I said, listen, don't you start with me today, okay? Call my mom. No answer. No answer. No answer. She comes pulling back in. Mama, where did you go? You have literally stolen my vehicle, okay? You stole a vehicle from your son, okay? Where have you been? She said, I was thirsty. So I drove 3 miles away to a gas station to get something to drink. I said, Mama, like, there's more drinks here than anywhere in Atlanta. Are you kidding me? Whenever you are reading any of the 4 Gospels, Jesus will use parables because everyone is so interested in what Jesus' dad is like. Everyone's going, Jesus, if you're the Son of God, then what's dad like? What's a day in life? And he'll always use this phrase in some way or another. He'll say, the kingdom of heaven is like. In other words, what he's saying is, here's what it's like a day in the life of me and Dad. And he wants his followers to know, because so many people, and you and I have friends that have gotten a misrepresentation of who God is. He's going, let me set the record straight about what Dad is like and what the kingdom of heaven is like. At our house, we let go of stuff. At our house, we forgive debts. At our house, we don't hold grudges. Because so many people had this ideology about God. They're going, man, God's mad at me. God's going to judge me. God is against me. And all of a sudden, he's going, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me tell you about my dad. And this is what he's like. Now, rabbis had already taught, okay, most known rabbis had taught, they had great debates over how many times should someone forgive somebody that has sinned against them. They came up with the number 3. They said 3 strikes and you're out makes the most sense for us, okay? So that's what was taught. So Peter is trying to get some extra credit with Jesus. He goes, 7's the number of perfection. Jesus loves the number 7. I got this, guys. Hey, Jesus, how many times should I forgive somebody that's sinned against me? I got this, guys. Watch this. 7 times, Jesus. Jesus going, nah, 70 times 7. Now, the person writing this story is a mathematician, okay? He does taxes for a living, okay? He knows the numbers really well. Peter also knows the numbers. He's going, but Jesus, if you do the math, it's 490 times. Jesus, I understand what you're saying. The only issue with this, who would do that? Who would count to 490? Like, name the last time you went to your spouse and said, this is the 463rd time you done got on my nerves. You got 27 more times, and we are done. Do you understand me? Like, you wouldn't do that. No one has an Excel spreadsheet on somebody else's mistake. Like, eventually, while you were trying to keep count, you would lose count. To which Jesus is going, that's the point. I want you to stop counting. Because if you try and keep up with it, you're going to lose. So yeah, why don't you just stop counting? That is the point. And my deepest concern for my brothers and sisters is that so many people hold on to so much unforgiveness for way too long. Sometimes it's something somebody did. Sometimes it's something someone said. Sometimes it's not even what somebody said to us. It's something somebody said to somebody we love. And so sometimes we have allowed our influences to make us hate people we've never even met before. Oh, they mess with you? Also, if they mess with you, then they mess with me, so I don't even like them, although I've never even met them. Instead of us going, you know what? Why do you get to vote who I don't like when I've never even met that person? Why don't we try and forgive them together instead of gotta hate them together? You ever thought about that for a second? And so this thing, Jesus is trying to get us to understand. He's going, guys, we gotta let go. Because if we don't, we're going to start making people that are close to us pay for what other people did. The strategy of the enemy and adversary of your soul is to put distance between you and the people you love, one offense at a time. And I wonder if someone has arrived here, if someone is watching online right now, and you have gotten to a place in life where you are crazy close to all the wrong people, and you've put distance between all of the right people. When we are offended, what happens is we begin to make friends enemies. When we are offended, we find ourselves trying to prove stuff to people that we never had to prove in the first place. I was in the airport. I get to travel quite a bit. I remember I was sitting in C-34 headed to Houston. And when I travel, I like to wear NBA gear because it confuses people. Because people are always like, does he play for somebody? Does he play for somebody? Who he play for? Does he play for somebody? And I just love watching their faces, and I just be walking. And I play the part. I don't lie. I just be walking like, yeah, it is what it is. And so people are like, so do you play for the Warriors? Not right now. I'm doing some things for the kingdom and for the glory of the Lord. And I'm taking a season off right now to preach. Might come back. We'll see what happens. But thank you for asking. I mean, like, it's just so funny because people are always like they kind of pull out their phone like, I think he might. He kind of looks like, they're like looking up my, like, they're like, does he, like, and it's so funny. I love it. So this guy, he's sitting next to me, he goes, man, do you play for the Warriors? I said, no, not right now. And so I'm reading a book, and sometimes, like, I'm chitty-chatty in the airport, but sometimes I'm like, I'm getting ready to go chit-chat to thousands of people right now, so I'm going to chill right now. Let me just read a book. So I was, like, trying to show him, hey, I'm reading right now. Leave me alone just a little bit. And so, but he didn't get the message. He was just like, so, what's your name? I'm like, okay, Lord, you must want me to talk to this man about something going on in his life, and that's fine. All right, like, you can interrupt my NBA time, okay, but that's fine. So I said, hey, man, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Houston. I said, where are you coming from? He goes, oh, I'm coming from Ohio. I said, man, that's awesome. I said, what were you doing in Ohio? He said, man, I was in a fitness competition. I said, man, that's awesome. You look fit. You look good. He said, yeah, and I won. And he started to cry in the terminal. And I said, why? He goes, dude, I'm sorry to get emotional. He goes, I just won. I've spent my whole life to get to this place, and I've just won, and I don't have anybody to celebrate with. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to have a friend that won a fitness competition. Matter of fact, can you be my new security guard? Listen, look at my friend Mark. This man has won the Arnold Schwarzenegger fitness competition. He is the best man in the world. I said, this is awesome. And so I just started asking him questions about his life and his daily routine and what's he putting in his body. And I said, man, where did this start? When did your journey begin? And this is what he said. He said, I couldn't get a date in middle school. And I used to get made fun of. And I think to myself, what if they could see me now and I'm not concerned about his physique. I am now concerned about his soul, because guess what? They're not in the terminal. And they're not paying attention, yet you are living your life for some people you don't even sit with anymore. Some of us still live in the lunchroom. And because of an offense of a lunchroom, it's like sometimes I sit with people and I get coffee and I'm going, man, what's the thing? What's the thing that's bothering? What's the thing that's shaking you? And they're like, and we go all the way back to elementary, and I'm like, dude, it's 2019. What are we talking about the 90s for? You've let one offense rob your whole life. It's time to get it back. We got to let this stuff go. So today I want to talk to you about how to forgive and how to let go. I want to give you three things. Three things that I believe that are going to help each and every one of us walk in forgiveness. And the first one is this. Number one, you have to recognize your own need to be forgiven. Recognize your own need to be forgiven. What we must understand in this process of forgiveness is that hurt people have also hurt people. Whenever we're hurt, we can only see the perspective of being the victim. But it's hard for us to realize, you know what, there are some things that I've done in my life as well. I love what Romans 5 verse 6 says. It says, for while we were still weak, at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. But God shows his love for us, that and while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Ladies and gentlemen, when we look at this passage even further in its original translation, it's not just while we were still sinners. It's while we were still sinners and enjoying it. In other words, while you were doing whatever you wanted to do, whenever you wanted to do it, with whoever you wanted to do it with, Christ died for you then. Not while you singing elevation songs, while you were singing some other songs in the club getting tipsy. Like in that moment, he died for you. He chose you then. And that has to be the foundation in which we live our lives. Otherwise, we will have forgiveness prerequisites. I'll forgive them when, and then it'll be up to them. You must start with the foundation that I have been forgiven. And once you realize that you have been forgiven, you can move on to number two. Number two is extend the same grace that has been extended to you. In other words, forgiven people have a responsibility to forgive. Let me put it like this. I'm not going to forgive you because I'm a good person. I'm not going to forgive you because I'm a Christian. I'm going to forgive you because a crazy amount of forgiveness has been given to me that I did not deserve. Let's just say I were to give each person in here $100 cash right now. I said, hey, guess what? I put $100 under every seat. You get $100, you get $100, you get $100, okay? Let's say I did that. Don't look under your seat. There is nothing there unless someone dropped their offering. Okay, now, let's just say that I said, hey, you can have that. That's just me. I'm balling. I just wanted to bless you. And all of a sudden, you went to Walmart and somebody said, hey, I'm starving. Could I have $5 to get something to eat? And you were like, no, I'm not going to give you $5. You wouldn't do that. The reason you wouldn't do that is because something was freely given to you that you did not earn. So it's like, geez, I mean, here's $5. I still got $95 I didn't earn. Some of us are viewing forgiveness as ours to give. It's not. You were already given an infinite amount of it, so you should extend that to other people. Now, Matthew 5:23 says this. It says, this is how I want you to conduct yourself in these matters. If you enter your place of worship and about to make an offering, you suddenly remember a grudge against a friend has against you, abandon your offering, leave immediately, go to this friend and make things right. Then and only then come back and work things out with God. In other words, what Jesus is trying to communicate to us is the real fruit of your relationship with God is not what you do inside the four walls of a church. The true nature of your relationship with God will be shown in how well you deal with someone that you need to forgive outside of the walls of the church. How you treat people outside here is the true testament of if you really got something while you were in here. Ladies and gentlemen, people say all the time they want to be more like Jesus. They do. I want to be like Jesus. And you should want to be like Jesus. Your greatest opportunity to be like Jesus is when you have been offended, when you have been hurt. That is your greatest opportunity to be like Jesus. If you're saying you want to be like Jesus, you are asking for a test, and I want to encourage you this weekend to pass the test. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus said some crazy things in red. Crazy things. Crazy. If we had been there live for the stuff Jesus said, we'd been like, Jesus, you lost your mind. There is no way anybody could ever do something like that. This is what he said in Luke chapter 6. He said, but those who are willing to listen, I say, love your enemies. Jesus, that's not what we do with our enemies, okay? We don't love them, okay? We hate them. He goes, I know. You've been taught love your neighbor. That's cool. But if you really want to follow me, you should also love your neighbor. And some people that are against you. But Jesus didn't stop there. He kept going. Then he says, do good to those who hate you. Listen, if somebody hate me, I'm not trying to pass out a donut to them. Okay, like, what do you mean do good? You want me to mow the lawn of the neighbor I can't stand? Like, I'm just, Jesus, I'm not really following you. This is really great. Then he takes it another step and says, bless those who curse you. Somebody cuss at me, I'm not buying you a sandwich. Hello? Like, I'm not going to extend generosity towards the person that's trying to cuss at me. I mean, it's just like, Jesus, what are you trying to get? And then he takes it to another level. He said, pray for those who hurt you. What? Jesus, let me just be honest with you for a second. I barely pray for people I like, okay? Let alone the people I don't like. So Jesus, you mean Keisha that I work with? You mean my ex? You mean like you want me to add these people that don't like me and I don't like them? You want me to add them to my prayer list? Yes. Because I added you to a list that you didn't belong on either. I gave you VIP in my kingdom when you did not deserve it. So yes, add them to your prayer list. And let me tell you something. This is going to change your life. This is going to change your life. When you start praying for your enemies, you start praying for people that are against you, it is really difficult to continue to hate somebody you're praying for consistently. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go home and make an enemy prayer list. I want you to put it on your fridge. I want you to put it on your mirror. I want you to pray for these people every single day. And here's what's great about praying for your enemies is day one of praying for your enemies is what I call petty prayers, okay? You're going to be praying as petty as you possibly can, okay? I want you to get it out your system, okay? I want you to pray honestly. I want you to pray exactly how you feel. You're going to pray for Keisha at work to get an attitude. You say, Lord, I pray for Keisha's attitude. Bless her nappy head all the way down to her crusty toes. Lord, I pray that you would deal with that Jezebel spirit living on the inside of her right now. And I just like get petty. Do whatever you got to do. Get it out. Get it out your system. Pray for your ex-boyfriend. Lord, I pray he get a full-time job. Help him move out of his mama's house. Lord, help him get some new clothes. Lord, bless him. Right now, help him get a degree. Don't tell him to stop rapping. Help him to you just go on and on and on. Get it out. Let's just do it. God knows your heart. You're not going to trick God, okay? Like, just pray how you need to pray. Pray the petty prayer. You say, listen, somebody come to you at work with an attitude. You go, I've been praying for you. They're like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, this man told me to pray for my enemies and you on the list. Okay, like you just do it. And the reason why day one's okay is because day two is even better. Because day two, you got your petty prayer out. And now you're going to get God's heart for the person. Because now you're going to go, Lord, is there anything that perhaps happened to Keisha that gave her the attitude that she has at work? And maybe she's not mad at me. Maybe there's something else so much darker that she's facing. But Lord, I pray that you would heal the parts of her that are broken the most. And whatever's going on in her life, God, I pray that you would intervene. God, would you show up like a mighty rushing wind in her life and heal her right now? And could you imagine if all of a sudden you see Keisha and you guys have had this tension all this time and you just went past all the tension and went, you okay? Because I feel like the Lord revealed some things to me this morning when I was praying for you. God put you on my heart to pray for you. God might use you to bring her to the Lord. You just never know because you pray. You go, man, I'm not going to pray for my. No. You pray for it and go. Is there some insecurity he's been facing his entire life that has led him to a basement that he doesn't belong in? That has got him connected with all the wrong people. And you go, but this isn't about you guys getting back together. This is about a man getting his life back. And you go, Lord, would you be his firm foundation? Would you be the thing that he identifies with? Would he find his manhood in you and not in what the world tells him he has to be, where he is constantly failed? Can you imagine if you start doing this? Praying for your enemies isn't crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually healing for you and them. You got to get this poison out of you. You got to get this bitterness out of you. You got to get these offenses out of you. You go, man, listen, I know there's some people in your life that you don't like them. You better start praying for them. Let the petty prayers go, and then all of a sudden you're going to get God's heart for that person, and it is going to change your life. This third thing, I need the worship team to come up to make it sound real spiritual. I need good keys. Key of A would be great. Okay, just something awesome. Number 3, decide to forgive people before they hurt you. Decide to forgive people before they hurt you. In other words, I want you to begin to adapt a lifestyle of forgiveness. I'm not waiting for you to say something smart to me to then decide what I'm going to do with it when you say it. I'm not going to give you my Monday. I'm not going to give you my Tuesday. I have already made a decision as to what I'm going to do with your offense. I am going to let it go because I am tired of giving my day, my week, my years, and my decades to the offenses of other people. I'm not going to do it. I've already made my decision. I'm going to let it go. Here's how you do it. Colossians 3, verse 13 says this: make allowance for each other's fault and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. In other words, what the Apostle Paul is encouraging us to do is to carry grace in our back pocket at all times for other people to make mistakes. The way I like to say it is this: expect people to be stupid. I just expect it. And listen, I walk into work. Is it going to be you today? It's going to be you today. It's Monday, too. No, you probably going to act a fool on Wednesday, Thursday. What you going to do? And I'm not there to go, hey, you're doing something dumb. I'm going, no. I've got grace ready for you because somebody's got grace ready for me. So, yeah, I'm just going to make space. And sometimes we haven't given space to our spouse to make mistakes. We haven't given space to our kids to make mistakes. We haven't given space to our colleagues to make mistakes. But I just decided, man, I want to live in this grace space and have a bunch of it in my back pocket and go, Ryan, man, you just don't get rattled a whole lot. Man, this is a really big deal. I'm going, is it a really big deal? Like, how big of a deal is it? And if it was you on the other end, wouldn't you want grace? So just extend it anyways. I already made up my mind how I was going to deal with this person before I met this person, because I decided I didn't want to give away my time to offenses. And you shouldn't either. My wife is a perfect example of a person that gives grace. I need more grace than anybody, and she gives it often. My wife is 100% awesome and 99% perfect. Let me tell you about that other 1% real fast as we close. My wife and I've been given permission by my wife to share this story, so don't tweet my wife talking about some Ryan talking mess about you over at Free Life. No, I want y'all to calm down, okay? Now listen. My wife has been doing the same thing that drives me absolutely crazy for almost 6 years. I've been saying, Lord, would you break every chain in her life? Lord, would you deliver her? Would you do something? Because I don't know why she continues to do this thing over and over and over again. And the thing that my wife does consistently that drives me absolutely crazy is she loves to move cell phone chargers. Specifically, my cell phone charger, specifically even more. The cell phone charger on my nightstand. Like, I have given you enough chargers, like you have your own vehicle with your own charger in it that I don't even mess with. Why did you go in my vehicle and steal my charger? Like, didn't nobody ask you, like what happened to the charger? And it's like you got like 2 or 3 chargers on your side of the bed. You look like you could charge 4 or 5 phones, but now I ain't even got no charger. And so when I say, hey, where's my cell phone charger? You act all flabbergasted like you don't know who took it. Like somebody just broke in our house and only stole my cell phone charger, okay? I'm like, where in the world is my cell phone charger? She goes, I don't know, I think it might be downstairs. You don't look very motivated to go get it because you was the one that moved it. You're going to try and blame it on the Holy Spirit like he moved the cell phone charger, which I'm pretty sure, theologically correct, the Holy Spirit ain't never moved nobody's cell phone charger. You can't blame it on our baby. He ain't got no cell phone. So I'm like, where is my cell phone charger? Then tomorrow, you're going to call me talking about why didn't you answer my phone call? I'm going to be like, my phone died because I didn't have my cell phone charger. And so my best friend called me and he said, Ryan, how are you and Amanda doing? I said, I don't know if we're going to make it, bro. We got issues. She keeps stealing my cell phone chargers. And he's like, well, why don't you just go to Best Buy and buy more cell phone chargers? I said, I don't like you or her right now, okay? Like, y'all can go charge your cell phones together, okay? Y'all both get on my nerves. And I said, hey, man, how you and your wife doing? He said, man, You know when you got to talk about your spouse in the garage, like underneath the car, you whispering like, she crazy, she crazy. I think she coming, I think she coming. Like you got to get off the phone real fast. That's how we be. I'm like, hey man, how you doing? How your wife? How she doing? He goes, like, man, whoo. He said, man, my wife's pretty frustrated with me right now. I said, what'd you do? He said, she said to me, I don't understand how you have enough energy to go to the gym, but you don't have enough energy to change the windshield wipers. And I said, I'm with her. I get it. I get it. I get it. And then I said, hey, did you ever think that when we were single 10 years ago, that we would be in our garages underneath our vehicles, and the subject of our marriages would be cell phone chargers and windshield wipers? He's like, never in a million years. But ladies and gentlemen, isn't it the small stuff that rolls into big stuff? We got to let it go. Because at the end of the day, it's just cell phone chargers. At the end of the day, it's just washing dishes. It's just a diaper. It's just a toy. It's just like, don't give the enemy a foothold over something really, really dumb. Ladies and gentlemen, my father passed away 3 years ago last week. And do you know what I would pay a crazy amount of money to hear my dad say right now? You want to go to Walmart? And I would park like a normal person. And I would say, Dad, take your time. Let's walk up and down every aisle. Let's see what they got new. Come on, let's make Walmart rich today. Let's have a blast. Ladies and gentlemen, I must implore you to forgive that person. Forgive the neighbor, forgive the ex-spouse, forgive the ex-boyfriend, the ex-girlfriend, forgive that teacher, forgive that coach, forgive that boss, forgive that colleague, forgive your dad, forgive your mom, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, the president, the police. Forgive whoever it is that is causing you this angst, because ladies and gentlemen, you may not have the opportunity to forgive them tomorrow. I know we think, man, some of us envision a better version of ourselves when they apologize to us. We think, man, if they would just apologize, I would let it go. But if you envision a better version of yourself later when they apologize, then my next question for you is this: why wait? Why wait to be the person you envision yourself being later when you got the opportunity to be that person today and you can just let it go now? So listen, first off, if you're waiting for them to apologize, you're going to be waiting a long time, because they may not be thinking about you as much as you think that they're thinking about you. And I wouldn't be waiting for that day when I could have freedom in my life right now. Sorry, life is too short, ladies and gentlemen, to stay offended. I'm not going to do it. And I don't think you should either. Forgive that person today, because you may not have the opportunity to do it tomorrow. I want to end with two questions. The first question is this: who do you need to forgive? Who's the person? The entire time I'm talking, there was a person you go, I ain't doing it. I don't care. No, Ryan, you don't know what they did. You don't know. You're right, I don't know. God knows. And if God can forgive them, then I think you can too. If you can't find it in your heart, use some of His. Use some of the forgiveness He gave you and extend it to them. The second question I have for you is this: who do you need to ask for forgiveness from? Who do you owe an apology to? You go, no, it was their fault. Well, maybe it was 10% my fault, but it was mostly their fault. Well, will you apologize for your 10% and maybe take 20 just cause? Just to err on the side of grace. I have a sinking suspicion that today some people in the room are going to make some really tough phone calls on the way home from church to say, I'm not going to live my life like this anymore. Some of you are going to write some really tough text messages, write some really tough emails. You're going to hop on Facebook and reconnect with somebody you thought I would never forgive them, but you're going to say, listen, I got to let it go. Because forgiveness is not saying that what they did wrong was right. Forgiveness is saying, you're no longer responsible to make me whole. God is. So yeah, I am going to let you off the hook, and I'm going to get connected with my God and let Him heal me, but you're not responsible for that. I'm not waiting for your apology. If you apologize, that's just icing on the cake, but I'm going to go get the real stuff, the real forgiveness that'll help me be free. You might need to call a child that you've not spoken to in 10 years. You might need to call a dad that left and you're so angry at him. And I get it. You should be. But you should also be free. I'd call him. You said, man, I can't even bear to be on the phone with him. Write a letter, put it in the mail. And maybe all it says is, I forgive you. Love your son. Send. Again, you got to take one step, baby. Because if you don't, you're going to make people pay now for what somebody did 20 years ago. And there's people in your life right now that are confused as to why you're always angry. They're going, I didn't do anything to you. It's time to live free. I think when we do, can you imagine if we all live this way? You imagine if we all go to work tomorrow with a little bit of grace in our back pocket, going, is it you today? Is it you today? Is it you today? Can you imagine if we lived our life and we were just praying for people we cannot stand, and all of a sudden God would begin to speak to us. God would begin to give us his heart for other people. I think we could change the world with this. Can you imagine if you really lived your life unoffendable? Unoffendable isn't this idea that you can't be offended. Unoffendable means you're making a decision. I'm not going to stay offended. Father, I thank you so much for each and every person under the sound of my voice.